Well, it's been over a week since the NBA has returned, and we've seen a lot of action go down in the past week. I will say this might be some of the best basketball I have seen all season. We've had some game winners.
They bring the double at Booker. Book on the spin, fires for the win! Got it!
George, 4-second difference. LeBron on the fly, got his own miss and puts it up and in. LeBron James gives the Lakers.
We've had some really high scores, and teams have been lights out from the three-point line. Not to mention that everyone so far has stayed healthy, and outside of that whole Lou Williams incident, everything has been going smoothly for the NBA. There's a lot of hype going into the playoffs, and I just wanted to evaluate all the hype in the league and see if I'm buying or selling in that stock going into the playoffs. The first thing I'm going to go over is the Phoenix Suns. Are they going to continue this 3-0 start and ride that wave into the playoffs? And I do really believe that the Suns can win 3 of their next 5 or even 4 of their next 5 games. In this situation, I'm going to sell on this stock. The reason being, I do believe the Suns are going to outperform the Spurs and the Trailblazers, who just have an awful schedule remaining for the rest of the season. But if you really look at the Pelicans' remaining schedule versus the Suns' remaining schedule, it's going to be a long way for the Suns to go in order to make the playoffs. The Suns still have to play the Pacers, the Miami Heat, the Thunder, the 76ers, and the Mavericks. But the Pelicans, on the other hand, have games with a bunch of teams under 500, and to be honest, these are teams that just do not deserve to be in the playoffs. They play the Kings 2 more times, they play the Wizards 1 more time, and they finish it off against the Magic, and also I think they play the Spurs 1 time. And with the Suns being already a game behind the Pelicans, there should be no reasons why the Pelicans don't cakewalk into a playoff spot.
No.
Next stock we're going to look into is the Washington Wizards. Are they going to somehow climb into that 8th seed, upset the Bucks in the first? Yeah, nah, I can't.
Bruh.
Trash, you say? Well then, okay. Trash.
I get it!
No, for real though, the next stock that I'm going to look into is, are the Sixers going to make another deep playoff run or possibly win the East this season? And to that, I'm going to go ahead and say pass. The reason I say this is, I think the Sixers are very overrated. I think they had their best chance at a championship last year. They rely too much on Joel Embiid scoring, and they really do need Tobias Harris to be that second scorer. And I'm not really here to trust Tobias Harris in clutch situations, in tough playoff spots. He has yet to prove himself as that type of player. And I'm going to bring this back to the way that the Miami Heat played the Sixers earlier on in the season. They basically left most of the Sixers wide open from three-point land, stored up in the paint, which basically stopped Joel Embiid from scoring. And since they don't respect Ben Simmons' jump shot at all, and in general this Sixers team is not the best shooting team in the league, the next thing I want to bring up is, can the Nuggets be as good as their record says? Are they going to be a major threat to win the Western Conference? And with this stock, I'm actually going to buy. I'm not going to buy all the way. I'm going to buy a little bit. Alright, the reason why I say that is the Nuggets have one of the deepest teams in the entire league. Now, we all saw what Michael Porter did against the Thunder. 37 points and 12 rebounds. But in their most recent game against the Spurs, he had yet another 30-point game. I believe Michael Porter Jr. is the last piece of the puzzle to take this team over the top. They have like 6 or 7 players that could score 20 on any given night. And unlike the 76ers, who were 12 and 19 against teams over 500, the Nuggets were 16 and 12 against teams with a record of 500 or above. I think if Michael Porter continues to excel and they get players like Will Barton and Gary Harris back, this team is going to be a serious threat in the West. The next thing I want to look at is the Pacers. are the Pacers an actual threat in the Eastern Conference? Now, with TJ Warren playing lights out and the fact that they got Victor Oladipo and Malcolm Brogdon back, you would think I would actually buy this stock, but I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna pass this stock. Victor Oladipo is not 100% and neither is Malcolm Brogdon, and if we're being honest, we don't have enough of a sample size on TJ Warren to believe that he will sustain this level of play for the rest of the season. I don't believe they're anywhere near the top 4 teams in the East, the Bucks, the Raptors, the Celtics, or the Heat, but I do believe that they will not be an easy out. They will cause problems for whichever team they end up playing. Last but not least, how much do I love the stock that is the Rockets small ball lineup? When I say the Rockets will live and die by the 3-point line, I really mean it. This is the team that missed like 27 straight 3-pointers in a playoff series against the Warriors. And yes, their whole lineup is full of shooters, from Robert Covington to Daniel House, Jeff Green, James Harden.
Got a whole lot of shoes on my squad. We got a squad for the shooters.
With this, I'm going to say we're going to have to wait and see a little bit more. I don't want to buy, I don't want to sell just because of this one concept. Russell Westbrook is a huge addition that's been the difference between this year and last year. Because when they're not getting open and the threes aren't falling, Russell Westbrook can carry that fast break offense. And I swear it's like the only thing this team practices is 3-point shooting and fast breaks. His ability to take over a game and score at will when this team is slumping is something that would make me feel good about buying this stock. I look at this Rockets team almost as I would look at a penny stock. It's high risk, high reward. And sometimes you end up with games where nothing is falling. But I will report that teams have been saying that shooting threes in the bubble has been much easier, and I'm gonna need a little bit more of a sample size before I buy or sell the Rockets stock. To any bettors out there, I would look at the Rockets stock and be a little bit cautious because they could crash or burn at any moment in the season. That's gonna be it for this edition of Buy or Sell. These games have been really good. I've been really entertained. I'm looking forward to the playoffs because there's really no team that's going to cakewalk into the finals. And there's no team that I believe is significantly more talented than the others. So with that being said, if you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Please share it on all socials. Thanks for watching the video. See y'all next time. I'm out.
On me, Majima, that's me. Majima, the king. The grand is my scene, but I'm coming to sunshine. Green the tree, up in the banyan, up in the bee. I be a